Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is The Raptor, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review. I'm going to be reviewing the LEGO Batman movie. On this channel, I've really only done two other movie review videos before. I reviewed Age of Ultron, and I kind of compared Captain America Civil War to Batman v Superman. And even though I've done other reviews in the past, I noticed that I really haven't made an in-depth movie review before, so that's what I'm doing today. And before I start, in case you didn't read the title, this is a spoiler review, which means if you haven't seen the LEGO Batman movie and you're planning on seeing it, please come back to this after you've seen it, unless you want to be spoiled, unless you're into that. But with that out of the way, let's get right into it. So I saw the LEGO Batman movie one day ago. I'm just gonna say it right now. I did really enjoy the movie. I did find it very enjoyable. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off by saying the things I really liked about the movie, and then I'm gonna go into the things that I didn't really like about the movie or I just straight up disliked about the movie. So with that being said, let's start off with the voice acting. So I thought the voice acting was really well done in this movie. Obviously, Will Arnett reprised his role from the LEGO movie, and he killed it again. He really brought out the new Batman, like the odd Batman that we were going for. And I also really like the other main cast members, the guy who played Joker, Zach. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, Zach G. I thought he really did a good job, as well as the other main characters, Robin and Batgirl and Alfred. I thought they all did a really good job. They really all brought their characters to life, or at least the versions of the characters they were going for. Like a different Robin and a different Batman. I really thought that they did a really good job of bringing those types of characters to life, so I really have to give them a hand for that. Now moving on, the story. The story is something that I actually especially liked. And of course, there's this whole thing about Joker being sucked into the Phantom Zone, and then he brings all these villains out and, wreaks havoc on Gotham. But the main thing I really liked about it was the way that they played Batman and Joker's relationship. Because what they did is that they took the relationship between Batman and Joker, how Joker is obsessed with being Batman's enemy, he really can't exist without him, that whole thing about the two, and completely turned it upside down. They essentially turned it into Joker wanting to be Batman's greatest enemy, and Batman is saying that there's no us, and that really hurts the Joker's feelings, and everything like that, although you would already know that if you've watched the movie. And I honestly thought that that concept was super hilarious, turning what Joker and Batman have in the comics, and completely changing it for this. I just thought it was super funny, and I thought that that whole dynamic with Joker wanting to be Batman's greatest enemy, but Batman just doesn't see it the same way, I thought that that was very funny. And don't get me wrong, the rest of the story is really good too, about Batman and Robin trying to infiltrate the Fortress of Solitude, and Joker's plan and whatnot. I thought that was all really good as well, but I especially like the whole interplay between Batman and Joker. That really stood out to me. Okay, so now let's talk about character development. So obviously the person that went under the most character development and the most phases and changes was Batman. Obviously he starts out as this guy that loves the publicity or whatnot, or just at least more so than the regular Batman, and he really only cares about himself and does things his own way and wants to work alone. And then later he realizes that he needs to work with his people, like Robin and Batgirl and Alfred, in order to stop the bad guys. So, he goes under the most changes, the most phases, and, I didn't really find that a lot with the other characters, with Robin and Batgirl and Alfred. Joker most of them, they pretty much stayed the same throughout the entire movie. And some of you may disagree with me on this, but I honestly think that that was okay, that there wasn't really that much of a bad thing. In fact, if anything, it really helped the story, because this is basically Batman's story, and, you don't really need other characters to go through big character developments, because Batman does a lot of it all by himself. Again, this is following him and how he needs to learn to work with other people in order to stop the bad guy, and I think that that's really all that the movie needed in order to do what it wanted to do, so I thought that was perfectly fine. And obviously the other characters don't play nearly as big a role as Batman does, especially in the first part of the movie, so basically just trying to add more character development for them, I feel would have almost been tacked on and out of place, if you guys know what I mean. So again, I think they did it right. Now let's move on to the animation. So just like the first LEGO movie, I thought that the animation was really well done. I know that they were all being made out of Legos and everything like that, and that can take away a bit, but the point is this is a LEGO movie, and I just thought that the way they were handling it all, and even if it was made out of Legos, I just thought that the scenery was great, everything they built, Gotham City, and the Wayne Manor on Wayne Manor Island, everything like that. I just thought that they handled that really well, just like they did in the first LEGO movie, even if it was just made out of Legos, with all the, explosions and everything like that. Some of you may disagree with me on this just because, there were some points, especially in the first part, where there was, a ton of stuff going on at the same time, and it was a bit much, but because, I'm really a big fan of the action, I just thought that made it so much better. So yeah, the animation I thought was really nice. And lastly, for the good things, and this might even be the biggest thing, was the humor. Oh my goodness, I found this movie to be so funny, maybe even funnier than the first Lego movie. Some of you may disagree with me on that, and that's perfectly fine. I don't really remember exactly all the jokes in the first Lego movie, but the point is, there were so many good jokes. Some of them I've heard before, some of them I haven't. I'll actually get into that a bit more later. But the point is, it was just so funny. I came into the theater for a good laugh, and I got a really good laugh. So yeah, I really thought the humor was really well done. There was a lot of good jokes, and again, Will Arnett, he delivers the jokes, perfectly. So yeah, the humor was, top notch. I really, obviously, it wasn't the funniest movie I've ever seen, but, it was actually, I expected it to be funnier. I expected it to be funny, and it was funnier than I expected. So yeah, I thought the humor was really good. So those were the main things I liked about the movie, and regarding the stuff that I didn't really like about it, or that I disliked about it, I'm just gonna say this right now, those are mostly nitpicks, because I did really enjoy this movie. The stuff that I'm saying is good is, the story, and the humor, and the animation, the big things. And the stuff that I didn't really like is more so nitpicks, so that just really goes to show how much I like this movie. But with that being said, let's get on to the stuff I didn't really like. Probably the biggest thing I didn't really like about this movie, and this is more so disturbing than anything else, is just the fact that Batman saw Batgirl as a potential partner. And I know that that's been done before, and the biggest thing that I can really think about is the Killing Joke, which was that animated DC movie. But it just, for someone who's very familiar with the original source material like me, that's just wrong, I know that I think they increased Batgirl's age a bit, so it makes a bit more sense. But the point is, just for someone who's not familiar with the original source material, it probably doesn't affect them that much, but for someone like me who really is, that's just wrong. For me, that's just really wrong. Every time a scene like that popped up, I was just thinking, no, don't do this, Batman. It was a bit disturbing for me, just because of the essence of the characters. I keep going back to the original source material, and just how Batgirl's so much younger than Batman. It just, I didn't really like it. But anyway, that's probably the biggest thing I didn't really like about it. So that shows that there weren't that many big things I didn't like about it. But anyway, let's move on. Another thing that I didn't really like, or more so that confused me, and this is more of a continuity error than anything else, is just when Joker was traveling to the Phantom Zone and he was rounding up all the villains, one question kept popping into my head. Where is Zod? Because if you remember, Superman said earlier in the movie that he locked up Zod in the Phantom Zone. And from what it looked like, Joker was gathering all the villains in order for him to, pursue his attack on Gotham. So I was just thinking, where is Zod? Unless he snuck out without any of us knowing, it looked like that he was taking them all. Even when Batman travels to the Phantom Zone, he's the only one there. It's heavily implied that he's the only one left in the Phantom Zone. And I do get that, Superman saying that he locked up Zod was more so for Joker to realize that the Phantom Zone is something he can use as a strategy, for part of his plan. But even so, if you say something like that Zod's in the Phantom Zone, and Joker's taking all the villains. Oh, by the way, I did like how there was so many iconic villains, like Voldemort in there, and Dracula. I thought that was really cool. But when you when you flat out say that you lock someone up in the Phantom Zone, and then Joker takes all the villains, I expect all the villains to do it. But again, that's just a minor thing. That's just a tiny continuity error. Another thing that I want to talk about is the music. Now, the music, I did actually quite like the music. Especially the first song when Batman is, fighting all of the villains. I did really like the music. I thought the music was fine. However, it's just, my expectations were a bit higher because of the music that was found in the Lego movie. Overall, I thought the first Lego movie had better music than the, Lego Batman movie overall. So it was more so just my expectations were a bit higher for the music. I did quite like the Lego Batman movie music. It's just that I guess my expectations were a bit too high, so I was a bit let down, but not really something that I straight up disliked about it. So yeah. And going back to what I said about the humor, how I was going to talk about that later, even though I did find a lot of new jokes that I laughed at, Iron Man sucks being the password to get into Wayne Manor or the Batcave, and the whole thing about the black screen and the white screen and Batman was talking over at the beginning and end of the movie, I found really good, I had really good laughs out of those. The problem though is that some of the jokes I'd already seen before, and because I watched the trailer multiple times, I was already very familiar with those jokes, and almost all of those jokes were used again, and it's just I feel I would have found them so much more fun, so much funnier if I had watched them later. And I get why they do that. They fill the trailer with jokes so people will come and watch them to watch the movie. But it's just I don't know, just some of the jokes, they weren't as funny the second time around, or maybe the fifth, depending on how much I watched the trailer. But even so, I did find the other humor to be very funny. It's still filled with jokes that you haven't seen before, although you probably have if you watch the movie, but you guys get what I'm saying. And the last thing I didn't really like about it, and again, these are really all nitpicks, as like you guys have probably picked up on that by now, but the other thing I didn't really like, the last thing, is the whole thing about Robin. You know, like, from what the trailer was implying, it looked like that the beginning of the movie was actually going to be Batman adopting Robin, and it's more like a Batman and Robin story. That's what I thought the whole movie was going to be about. I thought Robin was going to have a much more dominant role in this movie than he did. You know, like, Batman maybe picks up Robin maybe a third into the movie, maybe more like a quarter into the movie. I don't really know, but much later than I thought he was going to. And, you know, he doesn't really have much of a bigger role than Alfred and Batgirl. The only thing he has really over them is that he went on a mission with Batman to infiltrate the Forces of Solitude. That's really it. And again, like the whole movie is more so about Batman and Joker's relationship, as I've said before. But again, more so it's just about Batman. And again, I thought they did that really well. It's just the trailer itself was a bit misleading. I thought it was going to be more so a Batman and Robin story rather than a Batman story or a Batman versus Joker story, regardless of what you want to call it. But yeah, just the trailer was a tiny bit misleading. But again, I thought the way they did the story was great, so it's not really something I don't like. It's just, again, expectation-wise, it was just a bit weird. But yeah, that's what I have to say about it. I really like this movie, and the stuff I didn't really like about it, I just had, you know, they were nitpicks. So yeah, Rotten Tomatoes, I think, put it at like a 90%. Maybe it's changed, I haven't checked in a while, but that's probably where I'd put it too. You know, 9 out of 10. Really good job, guys. You know, I did overall enjoy the movie. There was just a few things that I didn't really like about it, you know, especially Batman vs. Batgirl. Just, no, don't do that again. But anyway, so yeah, I did really enjoy the movie. The main stuff I did really enjoy. And, you know, like I said earlier, I went into the movie theater to enjoy myself and have a good laugh. And that's exactly what happened. So yeah, a solid 9 out of 10. Good job, guys. Good job, Warner Animation Group. So, what did you guys think of the movie? Did you like it? Did you like it more or less than the Lego Movie, assuming you saw the Lego Movie? Honestly, I'm not really sure which one I like more because I haven't seen the Lego Movie in quite a while. But I do know I really enjoyed both of them. So, you know, which one did you like more? And did you like the Lego Batman movie? And if you didn't, tell me why. You know, tell me in the comments below. If you found it childish, I understand. You know, it was a more kiddie movie than you know, some of the other movies out there. But, you know, tell me if you liked it or disliked it, because I liked it, but that's just one opinion. If you didn't like it, or if you did like it, feel free to leave your opinions in the comments below. And if you want to see more movie reviews from me, just like this one, where I go more in depth than my other movie reviews, like my other two, tell me in the comments below for that as well, because that lets me know that you guys want to see more. And if you did like this video, please give it a like, comment down below what you thought of it, comment down everything I said before, and you know, if you want to subscribe to my channel, that would honestly be so great. That would really help the channel out, and I would love to have you guys along for the ride. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, your view really means everything to me, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace out.